Oh no! Really? Really? Oh no! Got him! Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday night, viewer game night. We're going to be jumping into a whole bunch of viewer games, and I'm always excited to see what people are bringing, so let's get to it. What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody had a good weekend as we lead into yet another week of I don't want to say rapidly passing 2023, because I'll be honest, it's kind of been dragging for me personally. But we're going to jump in. We don't have as many games as we typically have had the last few weeks in the hopper, but there are some that have been lurking there for a little bit. Before we actually jump into things, let me just throw this out here. By the time this goes live, Fright Night number 7 sign-up should already be live. Fright Night number 7 is going to take place on the 20th and 21st of May this year. We're going to be running a similar format as the previous Fright Night, Fright number 6. In order to get all the details for that, hit up the Randoms Thoughts Discord. The link for that is, of course, in the description, down by the like and subscribe button. And, of course, just to get it out of the way before we jump into games, I am part of the content affiliate program, so the dev team does give me stuff for producing Phobies content. Gotta let you know at the beginning, but let's get into some of those games. So first game of the night is Master Dark. We're here on Scopoceum. Let's see what the notes have in store as we watch the opening turns. When Tiny Tim is too much on the same place, we get a little Tiny Tim action. Tiny Tim has made a few appearances on stream, both in Fright Night as well as in other reviews. Hasn't, to this point, made too much of a splash. I'm not gonna lie, it hasn't been super exhilarating. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, our hero here is dropping Tiny Tim on the board and we can see some cool action. But instead, it is bad guys, so I have a sense that it's not doing a whole lot this game. But we'll see. Tiny Tim peeking its head out here, of course. Level 7 Tiny Tim here with a little peekaboo action. We'll see what happens. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be trying to get Fright Night up and running for this month. Similar format to the previous event. Details forthcoming. Just make sure you join the Discord. If you're going to play, you got to join the Discord, so that way we can manage everything throughout the event. I'm not going to chase people down. Like, it'll be in the rules. Just follow the rules. It's that simple. Hey, Big She, what's good? We get an early attractor out of our hero here. A number of things trying to get set up here. Not really aggressive plays from either player, but bad guy does have two 1-drops, Bachelor and the Cat, to try and claim some points. Now, this is a virtually immortal Tiny Tim on here. I mean, it's going to get yoinked, but while it's on here, it can tank a lot of damage. Taking half damage, of course, from Peekaboo, as well as the Healing Spa. But instead, we're going for the yoink on the Stairmaster, and I can't really fault him. This looks like a free pick here. Not even needing the Snowball. I like preserving the Fireball here, and then getting the Honey Bear Puke in order to prevent the fire here, or the lava. I like this play a lot. This is a good play, Master Dark. Hey, just random, what's good? What's good? Yeah, this was a really solid play. I like this. As opposed to taking the obvious yoink on the Tiny Tim, you get to pick off the 5 key. Bad guy doesn't even threaten anything here. Doesn't even try and go after the cassowary. So after all that, it's just, hey, for freezies, I'm going to kill your Stairmaster. Now, you do have to be a little cautious with the attractor here. Of course, there is a burrow option available from this Tiny Tim. And then the invade from the Chargels probably spells its doom. But if you don't go after it as bad guy, Again, you're just giving up stuff. What is happening here? What is happening here? Why? This feels like it's just going to spell disaster for bad guy here, but let's find out. I don't know, chat. I don't like this turn from bad guy at all. It might have been better to instead, like... I mean, I assume our hero here attempted a yoink here to test and be like, can I kill the Tiny Tim? It's probably not. Ooh, we get a little Edgar Allan action. Double kill here. This attractor is just going for the high score. Like, I don't know what bad guy's doing here. I don't know what bad guy is doing here. Other than hemorrhaging Phobies. We're past the halfway point in this game, and right now it's 9-0. That would actually be a cool feature, though, if they had a scoreboard. Like, I would like in observer mode, whether you're watching the game or you're watching a replay, instead of having to click on the vault, there should be an interactable button, like here, underneath each player that just drops down vertically and then just has the icon. So, these icons. Showing what's been, like, maybe one row is what's killed and one row, well, you don't really need what's on the board. You see it. I don't know. I think that would be beneficial, but anyway, in the meantime, we're getting an invade here that looks like it's a terrible idea. What is the game plan here? Heart Rush, I guess? It is a 3-1 panic point advantage, but Attractor is up. Edgar is up. I mean, what is this turn? Oh, bad guy. You done messed up. Oof. Big oof moment. I mean, this is a Tiny Tim, so don't get me wrong, it's gonna tank a bunch of damage, but, like... You done messed up, bad guy. Wow. That was oddly loud. Bad guy finally getting on the scoreboard, gets a kill here. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's irrelevant. I'm not an expert, but I don't think that that particular cassowary takedown is all that important. Tiny Tim is so tanky? Yep. Now, that particular Tiny Tim, we did look at it earlier briefly. It's only level 7, but this is a lot of health due to Peekaboo. But as one might surmise, Tiny Tim didn't actually attack, so you do risk Tiny Tim just imploding as soon as it pokes more than its nose out from above, from underground. A machine made of steel, 3-headed, tanks less than a tiny nose. To be fair, there's not that much to hit because of only the tiny nose being exposed. We're going to get a little Edgar Allan action here. Gotta love the AoE coming in. Just setting up the multi-kill here. Love to see it. Bad guy's going to get a couple of counter kills. Well, maybe not even a couple, but at the very least, the snowball. 3 keys to 6 keys. I mean, this game is over. This game was over several turns ago when bad guy not just once hemorrhaged stuff for free, but like 3 times hemorrhaged stuff for free. And each time it was progressively worse. Like more and more things and more important things each time. Lessons to take away from this game. Don't throw your phobies into a wood chipper. It's not going to end well for anyone involved. No one's going to be happy about that. Certainly not your phobies. Learning to play Tim. I am thus far not really impressed with Tim. So notably, it can be healed, and it's not mechanical, so it doesn't have an electrical weakness. which can matter. However, aren't you just pretty much better off going with Hevo 1.0 in virtually every scenario? Double kill. That Edgar coming in clutch. Well played. Well done there, Master Dark, taking it down. GG. Second game up is actually an L coming in from Rossarius. So shout out to Rossarius. Little experimental action going on here. Experimenting with the newest edition of Glob. So let's see what we've got. Shout out to Rossarius. Always like to bring it up when people submit losses. Shout out to them for putting them in there. Which, by the way, if you want to have a game reviewed, you want to see it either on the live stream, link for that, of course, is in the description, or here on YouTube, hit up the links in the description. You get it. For Discord, you can join the RandomSt Discord, and that's where you submit games. Also, like and subscribe while you're down there. Help me out. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer, chat. We're like almost there to 800, which is, I never thought I'd have this many subs. Whoa, we see a Charon here. So what do we got here? This is a level 19 Charon. Jeez, this is a level, what? I mean, that's level 12. I thought it said level 20 for a second. This says level 20. So we have a, teensy tiny level differential here. We're back on Scopoceum. We'll see what our players pull out this time. I mean, we've seen... Whoa, Alistor. All right. Alistor feels like it's making a comeback, chat. Does anybody else feel that way? It feels as though Alistor is making a comeback comparatively. But what I was going to say before the Alistor showed up is that we're now seeing Charon show up with more regularity on this map. I'm afraid to look at this Cyclops. Oop, I keep clicking off of it. Level 19 Cyclops. I think we can just assume that there's at least a 6-level difference, which I've mentioned this on many occasions before. A 3-level difference to me is kind of, well, 4 is really like a major breakpoint, but 3 is already starting to push it. Anything beyond that is just, all right, look, if you win, you're pulling off a miracle as the underdog, because that's a really big gap, both HP, damage, and odds are collection breadth. If they have that many high-level phobies to push them to those levels, then they probably have a ton of different phobies as well. Now, bad guy here is rolling out a somewhat eclectic bunch of phobies. They have maxed out with 1, 2, 3, 4 1-drops. It's a little weird. I don't know, just random. I didn't look at the whole list. You can check the spreadsheet in Discord. There's a link to it, and then you can see where you are on the list. So we do get a similar play to last game, getting an invade here, allowing Alistor and Klepto to avoid some of this lava damage. In general, I like Honeybear more, but I can understand the Charon play. Cowbell goes down. Looking like we're going to get a beating going down on this Alistor. Not quite enough to kill it. I'm not going to lie. If this was like any other 1-drop just about, there's a non-zero chance that this dies. I don't know what the damage output from, say, Razormouth is at level 20 or something. Yeah, 500 damage on that Charon. Ouchtown, population U, bro. And at this point, I mean, the Alistor can leech life, but with the body block from the Boomer, you're not connecting with anything other than the Cyclops that's relevant, which it does appear that our hero is going to go for here. Is this a dead Cyclops? I assume it is. Nice with the takedown. This is what you have to do when you're under level. Just take the picks where you can get them, because at the end of the day, you're just not going to kill that many things unless your opponent exposes them. When Charon is useful, 8 levels difference. I think Charon is valuable on this map. I think it's reasonable. And this sort of map, this map as a whole, I think does introduce the idea of what does it take for Charon. Oh god, I'm afraid to look at this. What does it take for Charon or some of these other phobies with little to no love to their name? What does it take for them to be valuable? And, I mean, quite obviously, you need obstacles, or not obstacles, but like areas of danger for Charon to disable. So, heavy lava maps, there you go. Suddenly Charon, you know, he's rowing his boat and it's working. Charon needs movement 3. I do not want to see any more movement 3 phobies in the game. Like, straight up, don't ever want to see another one. And I'm not trolling here. I don't want to see any existing phobies get movement 3, and I don't want to see any new phobies get movement 3. Certainly not ranged ones. This is a level 16 Hevo, by the way. That's a lot of damage. Although it's pitifully a level 16 compared to the rest of the, well, it's maybe not Wiggy, but the rest of these phobies. But we do, in fact, have a Hevo 3.0 getting loaded up, locked and loaded in position. Sort of. Honey Bear Puke, all gone. And Panic Point Advantage remains bad guy at this stage. This is bold. Okay, I see what's happening. We're getting the body block here so that the Honey Bear doesn't get pulled out of position. The problem is... Alright, we get a little glob. The glob. I love glob. Glob is such a funny phobie. I don't think glob is gonna do a damn thing, but we can all hope. So, I don't like this. I think this could have moved back. If I were, like, I don't think this had to move twice to get to this position. They might have chosen to leave it because they wanted to claim the panic point. But oh god. Honestly, you're just gonna lose this phobie. It's just too easy for it to happen. This is a level 15 Heartbreaker. 6 keys remaining for bad guy, 11 for our hero overall, of course. Get a little more Honey Bear Puke going on. I don't know if that would... Well, I guess it's fine, so that this way you can get a little splash here. Now, this glob... It's only a level 8 glob. There's just no world in which this connect... Well, Spider could make something happen. Wait a second. The card says that if something is pushed or pulled, it's freed from the glob. It does not say what happens if it's teleported. I have to imagine that it also frees the phobie. But how hilarious would it be if you teleport the thing that gets globbed and it keeps digesting whatever it is, like it pulls it with it. Dead glob? Probably not from this position. The Heartbreaker can't go off yet. This might just be a dead spider, though. Rocket Man! Alright, the spider lives, but at what cost? Numbskull down. We do get a glob, chat. We're gonna get a glob connection. This is great. I can't believe... So we might find out how Beside Myself works with the glob. Spider goes down for freezies, sort of. Oh, it does pull it out. Oh, no. This is the only way that this ability would work. But I was really hoping for a second that it would teleport with the glob. That being said, this Hevo took 1 billion damage thus far. 0 keys for both players, but bad guy has a quality and quantity advantage here. This is a cool play. Not quite enough to take it. But this suddenly got a lot closer thanks to that Scritch. Scritch is putting in work. Ouchtown population klepto. Yep. And then there was Jar. Definitely a strong effort there, Rossarius. Definitely a strong effort, but as I started out earlier in the game, at a certain point, the numbers just do things. That's why we need tournaments, like Fright Night. Just allowing it to die. Oh my god, it was a draw? Oh my god, it was a draw. What? What? Chat, what the Oh my god, why? It didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to end this way. Oh my god. Yeah, this will probably be the opening clip at the very least. Oh my god, get out of here. Why? I don't... Oh... This is so bad. I don't even know what to say. I don't even have anything witty to say right now, chat, because, like... Ooh, we got a high-level showdown here. It's Onda into Smiley on Mysomania. This must have been an async game. When was this from? No notes here, so Onda's keeping it secret on what's actually happening in this game. We'll see. Makes me sad when I see people crapping on Stelios. He doesn't deserve that, yet people get salty even on him. People get salty on the internet about everything. That's why I don't... Like, I understand when people submit games and it's like, oh yeah, I beat whoever that happens to be the big bad at the moment because they are over-leveled compared to whatever. And for a lot of people, it will feel like an accomplishment, but I think people do need to understand that if you are super high-leveled, stress level we're talking about, probably they're just screwing around. Like, let's be real. But anyway, aside from that line of discussion, we are getting some fairly standard openers, Gravediggers, Jars. Stabby's a little weird, but Stabby's fine. It kind of locks down the center. Now, this is abnormal. The early Alligator here, but I like it, Onda. I like the Gator here. We saw a similar play from Onda last week, I think, on Like and Subscribe with a Quagmire to the center early on. But this is virtually immortal. Like, you're not killing this Gator on this turn. I don't even know that you're doing really a significant amount of damage to it. But Smiley answers with Hevo 3.0. This is a level... Speaking of level 16 Hevos... Game won't let me click on things. Similarly leveled Phobies, so this is a very even game between two great players. But now we have a Gator on a spa, prepared to just lay into the heart. Now, presumably, Onda's going to vacate with the Gravedigger so that way the Hevo doesn't get a clear, clean shot on the jar, just like that. And all of a sudden, Smiley's kind of under pressure here. Now, remember, it's a big map. It's only a 1-0 panic point advantage, effectively. We're not looking at a humongous damage output, but it is, you have to respect this. You can't leave it there forever. But in the meantime, Smiley is going to take an aggressive stance, pushing damage onto this conga line here. And we're getting a little bit of pressure to hopefully shoo away the Gator. Onda with 6 keys could respond to this Hevo, but this is going to be a very difficult Hevo to try and kill with a mere 6 keys. It is possible because you could slide all 3 of these to connect, bring the jar down, and then follow up with something. Or multiple somethings. The game plan here is instead to advance an attractor. Get a little takedown here on the stabby. Makes sense, removing some threats. And Cat's going to beeline out of there, actually, to heal up. You, of course, don't want the splash damage leaving anything here. By the way, that Gator's full health. $33 turn game. Yep. A meta... What? Metabot. Things I didn't anticipate seeing in this game. Among them, Alligator and Metabot. Jar does go down. A real quick Hevo blast takes it out of the game. And now the Gator is going to have to vacate. I don't see Onda... Well, does Onda, like, really go for it here? Because at this point, you've hemorrhaged a lot of board position. Gator's still fairly healthy. I imagine Onda did the math so this Hevo can't just kill the Jin Sting, or they could be counting on this, that if they put out backup threats such that the attractor can yoink the Hevo, assuming that it steps onto the stim here, that you just annihilate it. It's like, oh, I'll trade my Jin Sting for your Hevo, basically. I anticipate that scenario won't happen, but we'll see where Smiley decides to take it. So now we're back to a more common panic point trade-off. We're looking at 82.25 to 58.27. Like, that's a significant chunk of damage. You gave up 7 keys for 4, so you're behind. Your opponent still has Gravedigger, which of course works very well in conjunction with the Hevo. But here's the thing. I feel like this is still very even, or possibly in Onda's favor, just because while Onda is down on keys here, 10 to 15, like, I don't know, I'm just not a huge fan of Metabot. It clearly can get more value, but with an attractor on the board, it's going to be dicey to have the Hevo tank enough damage to not die, but still get healed. And... or rather, instead of just having the Hevo get yoinked by the attractor and incinerated. Ironically enough. But we now have the Gator just assuming the position once again. Gator is, of course, at full health on a healing spa. Gonna get a jar here? It wouldn't matter from that spot. I mean, Spud, I guess. Evo. Get a quick snipe here. Out of the 10 keys, we get a regular boom. And Akira. All right, all right. All you Akira haters out there. The question is, are we going to get a counter Akira from Honda? That's going to be the funny part. There are enough keys for this to happen. 10 keys available for our hero here. We get the counter Akira. The way to beat Akira is play your own Akira, apparently. And honestly, well, we'll see who Akira's first and where. Because obviously, if you're Smiley, you want to blow up their Akira so that you don't just get annihilated on the counter, but I don't know that there's a good way to make that happen. I do like this placement so that you don't end up with the yoinks necessarily pulling things out of position. Like, this Akira's relatively safe. A glob coming out now, too? Really? The last phobie from Smiley is glob. Definitely plays or synergizes well with Akira. One key remaining for our hero. Are we going to see a yoinks? Not just yet. This had to be an intensely stressful game, chat. If you're either of these players, just the sheer quantity of possibilities when an Akira's on the board is insane, let alone two. And an attractor in the mix as well. But neither player has any keys remaining. Panic point advantage is for our hero. Getting the yoink here. Glob is going to gobble up the gator. Alright, so instead of taking the AoE, the kill is going to go down onto the kaboom, which definitely makes sense because you can't allow the kaboom. Obviously, there's a yoinks and an attractor. But now, Onda's Akira is on the stim. Yoink's still available. Big AoE going down there. Snipe on the Gravedigger. What's funny is the glob doesn't do anything. I mean, not that it does nothing, but you can trivially free the gator just by utilizing yoinks. And now Smiley's Akira went down. Due to the realignment, you just don't get much damage here. The Hevo is probably like a regular pull plus AoE attack. This might just be a dead Hevo right here. 900 damage. Ouch. Big ouch. This game was weird. This is a really weird game. I mean, you have the advantage here, because even... Okay, so I don't know that I would have let the gator die, but maybe... Like, you're still at a huge advantage here, even though you're down panic points. Like, you have a life lead. Your team is just way more mobile. You obviously have 2 yoinks to their 0. You could even almost allow one of them to get eaten just so you could yoinks and then move if you really wanted to. Not that you need to, but this game is essentially over at this stage. Can't free the alligator. They both get separated, but after the alligator, you can't move. What, does it put it back on the same spot? Because that would make sense, I guess. Oh, like, it's bugged? Wait, so... Okay, so if you yoink, it leaves the gator in the original spot, but then it... Are you saying it's bugged that it doesn't release the gator? Because it would logically make sense that it... If it was doing it sequentially, it, like, pulled the gator, or pulled the glob, and then pulled the gator back into the glob. Although, that wouldn't be a legal move if it pulls the glob first. Because, like, the gator can't move into it. I don't think you can boop something into a glob, can you? You know, like, say you had Finnegan, and, like, everything's in a line. Can you boop something straight into the glob? Yeah, you can't move. I didn't think you could. Okay, so it's bugged. Alright, well, that explains a lot of the plays, then. I didn't realize that was the case. Wait, you're saying you can boop into a glob? So, like, say you had, it was, like, if this block was, like, these two blocks were Finnegan, enemy Phobie, your glob. Can you boop this thing into the glob? Because I'm getting contradictory responses here. Because that, only reason it matters for this is that may help inform or explain how Akira and glob, something that's globbed, would work. But if it's bugged and it just leaves it in the other spot, then it's irrelevant. When I pull my attractor, my alligator can move. This glob just has too many bugs. Yeah. I mean, it's been mentioned before by the devs that there have been challenges with glob, which I imagine it's on the surface a very simple ability, but it is very complex, and I could see how it... Yeah, that makes sense, DT. Like, I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm comparing it more in general to where I was trying to compare it to the boop scenario to elucidate it for anybody watching this afterwards. So what DT was saying, yoinks, the ability from Akira specifically, would pull the glob. And then the newly freed Phobie won't move because it's blocked by the glob. So they don't move in unison, just as we saw on glob before. It'll get freed. Yoinks then tries to pull it, presumably, and can't because the glob is there. Or it's possible that it shouldn't try to pull it the second time, because yoinks already went off. Obviously, from a coding perspective, it's probably going in some sort of sequence, but to us, it looks like it's happening simultaneously. But anyway, we'll continue. So that informs why Onda wasn't trying to do yoinks or other plays in order to free the gator. So in the meantime, panic point advantage for our hero, healing this up, and I'm not really sure what bad guy can do at this stage, truthfully. Like, Smiley should just basically be hosed. But I kind of agree with Akune that this was very well played by Smiley. I like the idea of the glob. I mean, you have the Akira, so yeah, it makes sense. Ooh, that's a nearly dead Akira. But that's also a nearly dead Smiley. Glob was the inaccuracy. Like I said, I understand the logic. There is a reasonable play in there. And I don't hate Glob as a counter answer to an opposing Akira either, on paper. Get a little yoink action here. Into a dead heart. GG, well played, Onda. But yeah, overall, Glob with your own Akira obviously has synergy, right? You pull their stuff closer, you advance your Glob, it's more likely to connect. As an answer to their Akira, it's tanky enough that it's possible that if they yoinks it closer, they're not going to just kill it. And then it also threatens, hey, you're bringing my Glob closer to your forces. It acts as a deterrent. Here, I don't think the Glob was able to get the Gator. So the Glob was literally the last phobie. I mean, what other 4-key are you putting on the board in that scenario that would have been more beneficial? Because there is an element, like I said, of the Glob just being a deterrent. And I'm not sure just arbitrarily a Jin Sting or a Daisy is going to be meaningful enough at that stage in the game to either kill their Akira, kill their Gator, stuff like that. I think it's easy to point the finger at Glob, but I'm not sure. Probably Daisy. I mean, I like Daisy, but is Daisy the answer there? Because if you yoinks, it's possible that you're able to just trivially kill the Daisy. Maybe not, because then you still will have to put yourself out of position to a degree. But it's also, by the same token, possible that between Attractor and Akira, you could just force Daisy into a spot where it ends up on lava, and then you don't have to go out of your way to step on the bones. This is one I'm going to have to think about. I might have to look at this again afterwards to see. Because, like I said, I think it's easy to point the finger at Glob. I don't know that there's... I'm trying to think, like, how would you have played it otherwise? Because one of the things that came down in late game was Onda still had 1 key remaining, was able to get that Bachelor, so that forces Smiley to have to go in. If you had more keys instead of Glob, maybe you just flip the panic points and force Onda to be the aggressor. And then if at any point you feel you can jump everything, then you just Akira and dive. In that game, Glob traded for Gator effectively. That's not a problem at all. The thing is that trading for the Gator is definitely important, and that's why I'm trying to defend Glob. But is there a world where killing the Gator is the wrong play? Obviously, you probably have to kill the Gator over the long term. But would it have made more sense to, like, try and ignore the Gator and go for other objectives in the meantime? Not literally panic points, but try and accomplish other gameplay objectives as opposed to hitting the Gator. You can go Clopster to snipe the Kaboom plus Attractor, or Daisy or Ice Cream or Gonzo. I think Gonzo would be interesting. I don't know about Clopster because then Clopster's just trading for the Kaboom, which you are able to kill anyway. So, like, if you get the Kaboom with the Clopster, then you're getting 1 extra hit out of Kivo, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, I agree about potentially ignoring Alligator. If that turn I decide to free my Alligator, the Evo 3.0 will go bananas. Yeah. Clopster has a ton of HP. Onda had a ton of army. Assuming it depends on the turn, obviously, right? Like, the turn that Smiley went in to kill the Kaboom, there were like 4 Phobies there and 6 keys left. So you could have utilized the Clopster to try and zone out the Kaboom. There, like, if it has to sit far enough back to avoid the Clopster, or you just go in and kill it even if they have it close to their team, it's possible that, like, then the Akira and Attractor plays are less desirable. Like, I don't know what level Onda's Clopster is, but I'm pretty sure, like, 5 Phobies or more are going to annihilate a Clopster. At least I think it was that turn, because wasn't that the turn where maybe that was a later turn. I mean, regardless, I don't hate the Glob, but I do wonder if that is not necessarily because globbing the Gator was bad, but just it was an opportunity cost. That's fair, Onda. That's fair. But GG, if anybody's watching this on YouTube, this will be a good game to go back and review. because there's a lot of intricate plays that are going on here. And I agree with chat that there's definitely a number of different lines aside from the glob thing. Like, putting that aside for the moment, there's a bunch of other lines that could come up that are worth debate as well. But we do have other games to talk about. Going back to like and subscribe. We got another long game for you. Well, the longest of tonight, I think. 42-turn game here from Big She. Just a normal game. Nothing special. Do I note a hint of sarcasm here? I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe Mildred starts, it's raining cats all over bad guy once again. We'll find out. We will find out. But Chad, I don't think I mentioned in the last game, if you're looking for Fright Night number 7, I'm going to try and get the signups this week. They'll already be up, hopefully, by the time this goes live. I do still have to run it by the devs officially, but I'm going to get the ball rolling. I want to try and get a video up on YouTube to advertise things, that sort of stuff. Tentatively planned, barring unforeseen disaster, for the 20th and 21st of this month. It was finally a game where we can think for some time. Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of interesting things happening in the last game. Oh, we get the classic Big She early Firkin. Your dream combo got canceled. Yeah, Smiley was not going to let you connect with that. It's happened one too many times. Just a few too many times. Noxious coming out. Interestingly enough, Big She didn't cap this bottom point early on. Alright, this is a monstrous bait here. This is a monstrous bait here. And bad guy does not take the bait. It's like, please step on this stem. Please step on this stem and splash my team so I can blow up that Noxious. It'll be fun when everyone else will play Kaboom too. I wonder how... I feel as though a lot of people are going to try. I don't think a lot of people are going to be successful. Returning to do my baits before getting Sum of All Fears? What do you mean before? I thought you were already Sum of All Fears, Big She. An aggressive play here, taking a 4-1 panic point lead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phobies for bad guy, but only 5 keys available, so they can't pop out something super duper scary. But the toe monster presumably takes the bottom. Last night I win with those two, but I'm facing low-level players, so not good to submit. That's fair. I mean, sometimes those highlights are still fun. They're still fun as highlights, maybe not as a full game, because we've seen a lot of those games. And don't get me wrong, if people want to submit games where it's just, I want to feel good because I dominated my opponent, that's fine. But there is something to be said when we have the type of game that we saw Onda and Big Smiley, and Onda and Smiley, versus a game where it's just, hey, I'm just clubbing my opponent. Panic point advantage for our hero, but a standoff developing here until we get that boomer. 16 keys to 18 keys. This still hasn't... 1, 2, 3... So this could connect. I mean, I guess this turn it could connect. It can connect right now, right? Dead boomer. 8 keys, and there it is. Get a little Mildred action. You knew it was coming, chat. It wouldn't be a Big She game if it didn't involve a Mildred. So this is into the face of... Ooh. Ooh. This is an interesting response. We get an oopsie baby. 476. I mean, that does decrease the damage here. But you're still talking over 800 damage. It's still going to be an enormous amount, and that's not counting the radiating splash. The power downs on the surface do appear to be pretty solid answers to AoE phobies. You know, your Hevos, I guess Noxious technically, a number of them, Boss. But Mildred is a different case. It's just such an enormous amount of damage. Boo Fairy counter Mildred, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I'm more thinking Oopsie Baby slash Woolly Bully. I couldn't think of the name for a second. Negative 800 damage debuff. I mean, if you want to just incinerate 6 keys in the process. The fact that it has to be melee is just brutal. But speaking of brutal, Big She was able to keep this Gravedigger alive. Granted, Bad Guy still has theirs, but the point is that these obstacles are going to get chewed through over the course of the game. You may want them for Mildred, because obviously it's a lob, but at the same time, it does give you just the more mobility so you don't have to worry about forcing the lob. Like, being able to eventually move up to this spot, for example, if you wanted to, cuts off a huge swath of the board where your opponent is just not safe. Incinerate, what if Mildred is your main DPS phobia and the others are supports? Well, like, look at the team you have right now, for example. This is pretty cool. I like that. That looks pretty sweet. So, the thing is, like, this isn't an unreasonable board to have with Mildred. Like, how many support phobies are we talking about? Just go Brony? I mean, honestly, Brony might not be a bad idea in general. Brony might not be a bad idea. Excuse me. But we do, in fact, get the power down as well as a juiced up Noxious. I don't think this poison... Yeah, the poison won't even kill this, but again, 802, but still over 800 damage from this. That's a big Mildred hit if Big She wants it. Like, that's a potentially enormous Mildred hit. Wow. It's raining cats. Hits literally every single one of their phobies. At the end of the day... What the... Oh, man. This is painful to look at. Like, Henrietta, imagine at the beginning of the game, you can go, I'll give you Henrietta, but I'm going to take 12, 13, 14, 15 keys from you. That's a scoreboard moment, if any. But believe it or not, chat, we're only halfway through this game. 9 keys for Bad Guy, 10 for our hero. Akira, Mildred, Gonzo. Now we're in just magical Christmas land. Down goes Quagmire. Quagmire will pay for the sins of Cat Lady. But to be honest, I don't know. Big She just feels like they're in such a dominating position at this stage. If they can cap the panic point, that is, I guess. You're playing Akira 3.0 and Gonzo? I guess it isn't that hard. I guess it isn't that hard. That feels like, well, I guess, yeah. Like, once you put the Akira on the board, the game is going to slow down a lot. So you probably have time to do whatever, because your opponent has to respect all the Akira pull possibilities. So once they back off, you probably immediately take control of the game at that stage. I wonder how much Akira exists in the dev's mind for the purpose of making things like Mildred and stuff really good. Or making them better. Because it is an indirect buff for all of the slow Phobies. The Globs, the Mildreds, the whatevers. Because it gives them a free move. You guys focusing on quests. I completed my first quest, I think, all year last night. So Mildred tanked out the poison, little under half health. We do have a Bluelian for the repeated value from these spas. Congrats. I felt good. It felt good. The other ones I could probably complete. Like, I need to do one more creep capture, and then I need to poison, like, 4 or 5 things to get the other quest done. And I'm exaggerating. Like, I've completed the poison quest earlier this year, but I don't pay attention to my quests at all. Like, at all. So with no yoinks, as in any kind of pull, not yoinks. I might have to stop using the term yoink, because the ability on Akira is literally called yoinks. Get the power down on a little more bees. Less bees, in fact. I have to imagine that this Mildred connects again, but it's going to be very difficult. Just keeping rolling healing spas. So, Big She will have to do something at some point. Given that there's still keys, you could always pop out. You're going to have to sacrifice something, because there are 7 Phobies on the board. You can't just pop out a 1 key. But there is the option to just spam 1 keys at some stage to ensure that you always have panic point advantages. Let your opponent come in and then Mildred them to death. I wonder if bad guy just gets bored and goes in, because there's only 10 turns left in this game. And I'm not really seeing how our hero connects with their board unless bad guy allows it to happen. So this is kind of aggressive, shifting completely to this bottom side of the map. Yeah, I figured the Bluelian was going to go to the top. Panic point advantage is now in favor of our hero. Where's the Mildred end up? The Mildred's actually playing very defensively, but our hero's stabby is on the stim up in the north, and that's going to be very difficult to dislodge. Instead, they're going after the Hevo here. This is a heads-up play. Get the break here to get... Oh, the Hevo's not going to go in. Really? I guess they didn't have enough damage to actually kill the Hevo, so now they're just tanking traps from the stabby. Or with the stabby. I was wondering if you were going to do this. You get the target onto the statue. Get some free damage there. Eliminates the stabby. Maybe not free damage, but you're getting some splash damage there. Eliminate the stabby. Down goes Jar. And remember, our hero still has 5 keys left. That side is full of traps, I imagine. 4-1 panic point advantage. Big Sheep playing it very patiently. I mean, look at the hard health down here. It's getting pretty low. But the Mildred is pretty much safe. Blue Leon's very, very tanky, and instead the focus is going on Hevo down here. Firkin may be dead, though. It is, in fact, a dead Firkin. But that Gravedigger's not long for the world. Neither's the rest of Bad Guy's team. We're watching the slow demolition here. I did like the Gravedigger play. I was kind of waiting for that at some point to happen. What level is this? You've never leveled your Stairmaster? Like, at all? It's like everything else is level 12 and up. Level 13 Mildred, level 1 Stairmaster. What? This is a level 1 Stairmaster. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Can't quite point at it. I wanted to do some points. That's comical. I like that. I just can't believe you never leveled it. I wouldn't have even thought to look until I saw it pop up for 500. I'm like, 500? Surprise, surprise, there's another trap. Mildred going down. Third Mildred of the game? Fourth? I think third. Just obliterate that Phobie. Little BM healing spa. But GG. GG. And I was testing to see if hitting the statue is giving points. What do you mean giving points? What, like XP and stuff? Lasers, pew pew. Got him. Oh, event points. Event points, fair. GG. Only monsters. Technically, Murder Wing is a monster. I mean, by some definition, yes. But we are here, in fact, with Renamon as our hero. Let's see if we got the right game this time. Only monsters and still one. Lul. Maybe. Moment of truth. Ah, there's a monster to start, so we're on the right track. We might have the right game. The Moly Bully start is a bold one. I will give you that. I will give you that. And the Venus follow-up. Interesting. This is a... We'll call it a wild departure from what we typically see on this map. Usually it's Gravedigger openers, it's Snowball openers, it's stuff like that, which notably Bad Guy did both. And into Jar, another common one. Moly Bully is not a common thing on this map. Venus we see once in a blue moon. Honestly, Moly Bully is not a common thing, just period, but... And microscopic? Huh. So this Moly Bully will die if Bad Guy wants it. Oh, they want the smoke. Bad Guy wants the smoke. Now this likely yields a dead Gravedigger. Pop. There's step 1, because there's a trap. Step 2. Venus goes chomp. Step 3. Microscopic spreading the plague. The Germ Brothers. What is happening here? The Germ Brothers, really? Tickles going heart, really? What? I mean, I get... So the Tickles was clearly preemptive under the assumption that Renamon was going to try and come after it. Come after the panic point, so you, like, kill whatever and then go in. Oh no, Pandemic Gaming, exactly. Mike has more damage than Venus. Mike alone would kill the Gravedigger. Possibly. That would have also then prevented Venus from taking the damage that it did. There would have still been Fireball available, because obviously the Venus wouldn't have been in range. So, in the meantime, as we're debating the appropriate team-up, the tag team name of Microscopic and Gesundheit, we get a smiley at a bad guy, which, okay. Little chomp going down onto Smiley. Getting the body block here with the, ironically, Microscopic gets diseased. How fitting. And those are some very dead Phobies, or soon-to-be dead Phobies. Now, I was going to say I don't really like our hero's position, but at the same time, 7 keys remaining for bad guy, 9 for our hero, panic point advantage hero, and bad guy just passes. A bacteria attacked by a virus? That is some microscopic warfare going on. Not quite a dead creep. And the answer is Hematic Ginsting. 7 keys for bad guy. What did they have in mind? This Spud just dead? It's a dead Spud. I don't know about that one. Blondie. I feel like you would have been better off letting the Gesundheit eat the damage, but maybe the Gesundheit is in range of Jar then? I don't think so. I'll put an interesting game next. I mean, that was an interesting game. I always like to see Mildred games. They're always fun. Do we get the big AoE going down from Blondie for the power down? Notably, this does not decay over distance. So we just have a powered down Ginsting. Hematic Ginsting, that is. And Finnegan. Honorary good boy with the Electricat backup. This is hysterical. Bad guy's going to try to do it with Jar, Blondie, and 1 key. No keys remaining for our hero, though, notably. I don't believe this is a dead Blondie, but I guess it's not impossible. Bad guy clinging onto that 1 remaining key like it's the most important thing in the world. Boop. So this preserves the life of the Gesundheit for now. It is possible to still kill it. Obviously, you can come back in, but now it's in range of the rest of the team. And then it's Finnegan, Ginsting, Hematic Ginsting versus Jar and whatever this 1 key wants to be. Triple panic point advantage, and just like that, bad guy. Guess they forgot that 1 key. Not like it really would have mattered, I don't think, but... I mean, a muffin could have changed the tide here. Sock Acid is the final key. Yeah. About that. Got him? I mean, there wasn't much to say about this map because it felt like, despite the whole monster thing, I mean, there was that one turn early on where it sort of looked like, oh, our hero might have overstepped their bounds. But for the most part, it seemed like this was in hand. GG, Renamon. It was kind of funny to see all monsters boop the heart. Finnegan boops all our hearts, doesn't he? Because it's honorary good boy. So off stream, well, it was on stream, but outside of one of these, it was on a regular stream. Link in the description, by the way. We were watching an AGK versus Alien Engineer game, but here we have our hero MOSCA going up against AGK. Sorry for the long game, but it's worth it. 46 turns, believe it or not. That isn't... It's the longest game tonight, but not by much. Not by much. We'll see what comes out of this one. We're getting some fairly standard openers here on Vile Vortis. Chat, I know how some of you feel about this map, but YouTube, you'll have to let me know down in the comments how people feel about this map. I like this one. Out of the three, like heavy obstacle maps, we'll say, this, Opticon, Big House, it's probably Vile Vortis, Big House, Opticon, I think, is how I would put them. Opticon feels kind of boring. And Big House is just a small map. I think it's more interesting with this when you can have the opportunity to get both the larger key infusion and the larger key repository as well. You like this map? It lets you play Tiny Tim without healers. Another one with a grid of obstacles, nothing new. It's the tiny tweaks, though. So, for example, I personally find Opticon, which, by the way, just to call out something about this game, we're getting a blue Speedola here, which is abnormal, and then Gonzo coming to back this up. The rest of it seems fairly standard, like we said, but I like the healing spas. I like the idea that there is this kind of pocket panic point as compared to the layout. Like, the layout for Opticon, in conjunction with the stims, I think, to me, reeks of early map design, where it obviously has been a map that's been around for a while, and I think that the layout of that map causes more stagnation than I would like. I feel like this map, despite the healing spot, has less stagnation than that map. Big House, I think, is better than Opticon, but can also be somewhat stalematey. Like, I don't mind the layout of having the grid of obstacles as Sukune is putting it. I think overall that is a perfectly acceptable map layout. It just then comes down to what are the other parts of it. In this case, it's healing spas, a little bit of lava, and then a different configuration for the panic points and the hearts, which obviously makes a great impact on how the map plays out. So in the meantime, we're supplementing forces with a few more lobs for bad guy and then Hematic Ginsting for our hero here. Neither player has really put a lot of effort into banking here. Ooh, we get a break to clear stuff out. And a boom. Little boom action. So this is interesting. Bad guy obviously has their own crush more in position. They could hypothetically break stuff, but or build, but they're choosing to break one of the obstacles close to their heart, which seems odd. Like, I guess? I don't know. Like, I'm not really seeing a big advantage to doing that. I guess you could situate a jar there. MOSCA understands the power of booms, too. I mean, yeah, boom is pretty good. Boom is... Oh, we got a little Barzilla action, chat. Little hungover lizard here. Panic point advantage swinging back in favor of our hero. Notably, we've still yet to see the red Speedola, so I don't understand what this blue one is doing. It's level 12, so I mean, it's pretty tanky. It actually represents a significant chunk of damage. So, like, the combination of this, and this can put a big hurt on this level 12 Ginsting, Hematic Ginsting. But I don't know if that's enough. Burpzilla. Is this a dead Ginsting? In conjunction with the Gonzo? Survey. Ooh. Ouch down, population hero. Ouchtown population hero. Pop goes the Jin Sting. Jin Sting for freezies. That puts us at 0. Can't click. 0 to 7. I mean, one of it was boom, but... yeah, definitely was unfortunate, but not the end of the world. We do get the retaliation here with the juiced up cassowary, which leads to a dead blue Speedola. So we're trading out here. Not quite even, but, you know, getting a pick off on the 1 key there. Panic point advantage still remains in favor of bad guy with 11 keys to 10. Obviously, the cassowary is going to eat it as well, or likely will, because the Evo is in position. But bad guy may vacate, not wanting to take the damage. Both Gonzos are down, so it's not like you can just, oh, by the way, just brutalize this thing. So the Evo is going to hang in there, and we get a Klepto as follow-up. 5 keys remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phobies for bad guy. 5 for our hero. So this is one of the things that I actually like about this map, is that you can get these big swings in panic points like this, but it comes with a tempo cost to a degree. Like, that Barzilla is out, air quotes, of the primary fight for a little bit, because either you have to reposition all the way into the north, eating up a whole turn, or you can only target with a single hit the center panic point. I like that this whole, like, there's a tension there for players that I like the idea that you have to make these decisions, these positioning decisions, that aren't necessarily present on every map. And don't get me wrong, and people don't like, I know there are people in chat that don't like this map. I know there are people out there in YouTube land that don't like this map, and that's fine. But in the meantime, we should probably see a, yep, Gonzo will be live next turn. Gonzo on both sides will be live next turn. So both players are going to have to be a little cautious here. All right, we get the supplementary spider. Only 2 keys remaining for each player. It's possible that this spider dies because the Snowball, Klepto, Crushmore, and Hevo can all target. Wow, wait, what? That's a very aggressive unbearable. All right, so bad guy is going for it. They're going in. Spider's on the spa, but if you can just pump out the damage. That being said, like, yeah, I don't know about this one. Juicing up, Stabby, get him! Who knew that voodoo dolls were into HGH? So, ultimately, where are we at? Crushmore, Blue Speedola, Hevo, Snowball, Razormouth. Hematic Ginsting, Spider, Cassowary, Boom, Razormouth. Yeah, the counterattack was pretty solid here. It isn't necessarily as brutal as it possibly could have been. I'm not saying there was an alternative play, but it's one of those, when I saw a bad guy go in like that, it's like, all right, you're going to get something. You're probably going to regret what you lose on the counterattack. Was that a bait? I could see that being a bait. Where, oh, well, I exposed the spider, they need to kill the spider. But that effectively, you lose out on some damage. But that was like an attractor pole worth of poles. You got multiple things to dive into range, and then you just blew them up. You lost your phobia in the process, but I think you make that trade. So panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy here, though. Not exactly, but I knew killing spider was not good. Yeah, I think you accept the loss of your spider there. So Gonzo is live for both players. Klepto is still available for bad guy, but realistically, there's not, like... If you go in again, you're gonna lose stuff. So it's a question of whether MOSCA can leverage their own Gonzo to get another pick. Because you do need to not only claim a panic point, but then reclaim it again when inevitably the spider goes in. Terraform obviously putting in work here. What are we looking at hard health-wise? 39.95 to 79.90. This is going to be a battle that comes down to Phobies slaughter rather than hard health, but we'll see where this goes. Apparently it's not going anywhere for a little bit. This is kind of aggressive with this Crushmore. I have to imagine MOSCA did the math, and there's just no way for AGK to kill their Crushmore here. But obviously, you could have a Gonzo'd Unbearable light this up. I'm a little surprised the Crushmore didn't come down here, but I'm sure it was on the assumption that the Boomer was going to come up here. Therefore, you can just kill it. Or assist in killing it, that is. This Barzilla is just content to hang out on the bottom of the map and do nothing for a while. It's also possible this Crushmore would have just died if it was here, despite the heal. Due to Gonzo, but I don't think there was enough damage. So now we're back to square one as far as trying to stabilize the panic point situation. Bad guy can't really invade still, though. There's too many things that'll... What? What? Yeah, we just watched Gonzo juice up Henrietta. Just when you think you've seen it all, that is a very roided out spider. That spider was born in the darkness. Molded by it. Alright, so this is scary. 4-to-1 panic point advantage. 1880 on the heart. The thing is that it's stabby and unbearable are a significant portion of the offense, so you just can't get on the heart that quickly as AGK here. So you claim this panic point back, you claim the middle thanks to the block here from Crushmore, good heads-up play, and just like that, you're pretty much stabilized. Also because they burned Gonzo on the freaking spider. So, like, oops. Honestly, I could see the thought process of saying, hey, I'm going to Gonzo the spider to snipe the Eternal Knight. That way they can't claim back the panic points as easily. But this feels just... And that just didn't seem prudent. Ooh, we actually do get a takedown on the Crushmore despite the block. Panic point advantage remains hero. Barzilla. Get him, buddy. Don't even need to worry about the dimensional pull. I don't know about the repositioning the stabby, but it's fine. I get it, you don't want it to get splashed, but... I guess if they targeted it directly, That'd be 1,500. Oh, yeah, then it would have died. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is this an arena game? I'm not sure. MOSCA may recall. Get a little I-beam action. Gonzo going to be the death knell for this. Well, the fire, I guess. Cook Klepto. Async game. All right. All right. AGK on the aggro plan here. Panic point advantage once again in their favor. This could work out. Obviously got to clear the unbearable pretty quickly. This one's going to come down to the wire. Pretty damn close game, especially with what Chad is pointing out. Level 10, level 16. Got some pretty high level phobies against some, I mean, still decently high level. Not like, we saw larger gaps earlier in the evening. But this is still a pretty decent gap. 89 health. 89 health on the heart. Got him. GG, MOSCA. Well played. Well played. I'm telling you, I do like that map, chat. I think that map is interesting. But, GG. Alright, we do have a lower stress level game coming in. Just random. Submitting a game here. The power of Quagmire, Alligator, and Clinico. I'm pretty new, so if I make plays that don't make sense, then please tell me how I could have played that turn better. Absolutely. You're coming to the right place. So we're here on like and subscribe. So first thing I'll point out here that we know you'll have in your collection is Gravedigger. If you saw this, if you made it this far, and you didn't just skip to your game, one of the more common openers on this map is for Gravedigger to break this block. It allows you to run 1 keys. Obviously, Gravedigger then has leader value, because then you can break the remainder of these obstacles in the center to set up plays where you can get an invade. You can target things that your opponent didn't expect, that sort of thing. But instead, we're getting an aggressive invade here over the top. I like this, sending the cat across the top, picking up some extra panic points while you can. Bad guy, sure. You have 6 keys, but given your low stress level, I don't know if you can actually kill this. You should be able to. Like Cassowary plus something. So this is normally an 800 health snowball. So Cassowary, and then I mean, you have Ginsting on the board. But a Daisy would kill this, for example. I don't think you want to send the cat in here either. 1, 2, 3. How many spaces are in between here? 3? Yeah, it's 3. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2. You probably just end turn. Well, if you end turn here, the cat. That's 470, 480. 7, 9. So the cat would die to a snowball, so I guess this is fine. Snowball on the stem, that is. And bad guy answers with an invade of their own, Pterodactyl in the south, and then Smiley. Cat gets an easy takedown here, so I guess bad guy just regrets letting that linger. Also a 4-1. This game is weird, chat. I know we were talking lower stress level games can get really strange, but like this is pretty strange. Obviously, Hevo's a strong answer into the Smiley. I doubt you're going to be able to pin the Pterodactyl, but I guess it's possible. They're going to What? I mean, these are low-level phobies, but... This should be dead. You have 6 keys available. This should be dead. It's possible it might not die if you don't have a 3-mover. But you should be able to get it. AKA, bad guy just threw away 7 keys. This cat is a menace. Oh no, you didn't have anything to come get this? And this stayed here. I don't know about this. I don't think there's a reason to allow this to get hit. What the hell is this pterodactyl doing? Yeah, no assassin droney here, and our hero is low enough stress level that they don't have access to snowball. But I would have supplemented the forces with something, or even if you pop out your own jar, I don't know if the numbers would have worked out, but maybe you could have utilized jar to kill the pterodactyl, thereby leaving one action open on something else, and it can go step on the bones. I mean, it ultimately doesn't matter. One thing you may not have realized, so this is a pretty important thing. So if you're definitely going to pop out Gator, right, you had enough keys to get another phobie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you had room. You could have popped out the phobie, moved it wherever, probably here or here, then put the Gator on the vault. Hit this twice, it drops to bones, and then you step on it with the other phobie. And voila, pterodactyl goes bye-bye. Now, you're still up on keys. The panic points are all over the place. I think the panic points are completely all over the place. Smiley does get a disease here going on this Gator. I feel like you kill several things this turn, and bad guy is just crippled. Then you can just kill this. It's not quite enough. 490. So how much damage would a jar do? Probably not over... Yeah, it should do over 500, right? Point is that you could have also, again, used the... Like, pop the jar onto the vault, and then you can hit this twice. The jar then probably would have died to this, but then you get a free kill. Point is, you wouldn't end up with a diseased Stairmaster. The Ogre play is interesting. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to trigger it here. And this is why you break this block, because your Quagmire would have been dead if your opponent had broken this earlier in the game. Granted, your opponent should have done a lot of things differently, let's put it that way. Get the Gator flex going. This is probably not worth it. Trading this out is probably fine because ultimately, like, it's going to die anyway. Yeah, the snipe here, I like that. But I don't think you let the Hevo die here. It's pushing damage in the south for no purpose. You don't even necessarily need this panic point down here. It's fine. They are out of keys, though. So, pushing damage on them, and you already have healing phobies, so it's not... You're in such a dominating position that I don't think it matters, is the point. The one true Jin Sting survives. And I presume the concession came in from here. Obviously, bad guy was in deep doo-doo. Overall, well played. I think you could have cleaned some stuff up and it would have just been an even more of a rout than it already was. But bad guy just offered up a bunch of things on a silver platter to you. I think the big takeaway is make sure you capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. Because like I said, this would have been an absolute rout. Even more than it already was. But GG. Strahd is back. A lot of vampires in my life recently, chat. A lot of vampires in my life. But in this case, deviousness is the name, trapping is the game. Sorry in advance for the bad puns. Alright, let's see what we got. There's no such thing as a bad pun. Wordplay is always funny. So bad guy leads off with a snowball opener, Gravedigger for our hero. This is another map that I feel like could get tweaked a little bit and I'd like it better. I'm not a huge fan of this map, honestly. Bad guys following up their initial snowball with a unicorn. That makes this recap with I was going to say snowball, with the cowbell much safer. They can't really threaten it. Yes, you could fireball it, but it doesn't matter. You'll be able to back off. Cowbell's going to walk away with its life, and that's all that really matters. The unicorn follow-up on our hero side definitely makes sense. Of course, defends this panic point as well as mirroring your opponents. That way you can do the trap war thing. We knew that was coming based on the notes. But this is exactly it. So now, since that one key did not perish, it's still available to recap these points and be annoying later in the game. The bank to 4 yields Innocuous for our hero. Let's see what the 4 keys from bad guy show up. Little meatballage going down. That's a dead murder wing, right? It will kill the Gravedigger if you go for it, though. Gravedigger will have to sacrifice its life. I don't know that that's worth it. But our hero feels that it is. Just a quick snipe here. This is pretty aggressive. But bad guy, can they get both? Fireball is up. No, they can't get both because this is not enough damage to actually take down the Gravedigger solo. So you need either the Fireball to help supplement here or in order to eliminate the Gravedigger. And Cowbell coming back in to reclaim that point. Cassowary rounds out the forces, obviously going to represent the counter kill here, wherever it happens to land. Yeah, this is not a good turn for bad guy. Like, this is a huge loss in tempo. Plus, because you don't remove the Gravedigger, it just allows our hero a lot more options as the game goes on. We actually get the cheeky block here. This can be a dead Gravedigger. This could be a dead Cassowary too. This is a pretty aggressive set of positioning, but a 3-0 panic point advantage. We'll see what our hero decides to go for, because this is an Innocuous on the stem, which means that this Cassowary's covered, the Gravedigger's covered. It's very difficult for bad guy to represent a big threat here. Cassowary goes down, but again, this shouldn't die on its own. Oh, it does die here. Alright, this isn't that bad from bad guy then, because killing the snowball means that the Innocuous is dead, and obviously both of these can't really get involved quickly enough. So I'm not a huge fan, really. I'm not a huge fan of the Unbearable follow-up, although obviously it's a big deal now. The Droney is interesting, just to ensure that the Innocuous doesn't get yoinked forward by the dimensional kill. This isn't dead anyway, is it? Oh no, that is brutal. Like, I think if the the Unbearable was, say, a Jin Sting, then it was already in position here. You'd just be in a way better spot because you would have killed probably the Unicorn and the Snowball that turn. Or you could threaten, because remember, the Jin Sting was where the jar was, so it wouldn't have been able to necessarily come in and counter kill the Jin Sting if it gets sucked onto the lava. But we're going with a lot of one-movers here for our hero. 4 keys remaining on both sides. Panic point advantage is back in favor of bad guy, as well as a phobia advantage. Both quantity and in versatility. All the keys get sunk into Bachelor and Bow Mangles. All right. Lot of one-movers, which can still be very awkward, even though you did get that one early break. So the question becomes, where is Bachelor going to go to? It probably has to go to the top. And Sheep is the final phobie from bad guy. So we have our forces. The armies are arrayed in front of us. All right, so we're not pulling anything forward. So we get the snipe. Panic point advantage remains. It's going to be difficult to keep the bow mangles targeted on the sheep. The problem is, bad guy, because they went for a 4 key, there's no great way for them to reclaim panic points, but obviously sheep could be a big game changer here by just annihilating multiple things. Since Unicorn went to heal, it's almost completely out of the game. This is still going to be complicated because both of these phobies could get hit by sheep. This might be a bait, though. Really? Oh, that won't kill it. 43 health. I thought it was going to kill the jar. So this is pushing our hero into a more aggressive state here. Bad guy didn't accept the earlier poison. Wait, what? Why did you do that instead of the explosion? Are you just gonna kill it? I guess you can just kill it. Does bad guy walk into a bunch of traps? How do you win this? Bad guy has to walk into a bunch of traps. There's no way otherwise that, like... Right? You're waiting for the unicorn moment? So am I. At this point, bad guy just does nothing, right? Oh, no! Really? Really? Oh, no! Got him! Get the fuck out of here! Get No way! Ah! The classic push buttons until you throw. Got him! Oh, do you know, chat? Chat. I would probably just end the stream if that was me. Strahd just ended this man's whole career. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the opening clip for the record. Just for the record. Oh my god. Get out of here. Unicorn making the thumbnail. You gotta give it to him for that one. Oh, baby. You couldn't write a better Shakespearean tragedy than that. You can't. It's impossible. Well, after that, we have a Gakuen game. Did I review your game? Yes, I did your game earlier. We actually had a whole lot of notes, just random. So you can catch it on the VOD, or this will go up on YouTube later this week. So, what? Hold on, I gotta look at the... What is going on here? Fun with Blondie. Fun with Blondie. It's funny that Blondie's coming up, because was it Big She? Somebody in Discord was saying that they're really trying to do the double Hydra strat. I really want a third Hydra now, though. If there's a third Hydra, chat, what's its ability going to be? It's got to have an ability, right? Too bad you missed it. There are notes on there. Like I said, you can catch the VOD after this, or, I mean, you could literally go look at the video while the stream is still running. Or you can obviously catch it on YouTube. It'll be there. Barring something terrible happening to the download or something. But yeah, we have a really weird opener here from Gakuen. Jill into Blondie into Sucky. Okay, we had a lot of standard-ish games. This is now, like, we're getting weird, chat. More damage, lower health. Interesting. Yeah, Big She's been spamming Hydra Blondie. I saw it going up. I couldn't remember who did... Well... Gakuen beat you to it, Big She. Beat you to it. Got a little Hydra Blondie action. Bad guy banked to 9, by the way. Maybe new Hydra could have an AoE damage up. Oh my god, don't. Maybe like a localized Edgar, I guess is what you're saying. It gains more damage to lower the health, so it has an enrage timer. We got Blasto. Blastomatic and a... What is happening in this game? Chat, we're closing out the stream with all the wild ones. That would be pretty cool, DT. That would be pretty cool. Alright, so does Blondie... What? What? Hold on. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Blondie goes in with a level 9 Blondie, 372 damage debuff. Oh, this gets blocked by LOS. No, they didn't get the jar. 0 damage on the Murder Wing, although Meatball will do damage. 124 here. I think they were counting on getting the debuff here. Got any grapes? What? Yes. I don't know what is it about grapes lately, Atona? Is there like a meme that I'm missing out on? Morty! What the hell are you doing, Gakuen? Blam! Blam! Way less damage than you'd expect out of an electrical phobia into this. What is the meme? This is ridiculous. This blondie lived. Not like it particularly matters, but... I mean, it matters, but... I don't know. Look up the duck song. That sounds vaguely familiar. Morty getting in there. Snowball. Wait, did the blondie attack? Did the blondie just go heart? I didn't see what it did. I was trying to figure out what this internet meme is. Is this Hydra just dead? Little Maggie action? The Hydra doesn't die! Oh my god, the Hydra doesn't die. I don't know that this block is worth it. Not like it matters because... Oops, got him? I don't know what to say about that, chat. What the hell was that? That was weird is what that was. GG. Alright, another Master Dark game. This guy needed to get a revenge on me for beating I'm on this map, or I assume that's beating me on this map. But even if I did a tractor error, he couldn't beat me. Okay. I kind of got the gist of what those notes were. I was reading them very literally, so we'll see. We're back on the once lore with a 39-turn game. This is the night of around 40-turn games, chat. Got a lot of those tonight. We'll see if we can get a couple more of those games in before we close up some of the other repeats, just to ensure that we don't, you know, just in case the patch breaks things. Assuming there is a patch, like I said. As far as I know, there is one. Like, it seems like it because this is how they've staged them in the past, but we'll see. So bad guy took a very aggressive stance, capping the 3 centermost panic points here on the once lore. Quickly becoming, if not already, one of my least favorite maps. Little murder wing action. Free shot here on the boomer. Panic points stabilized, but they won't be for very long. It won't be for very long. A tractor. Did I say bad guy earlier about Snowball taking this aggressive stance? Because it's actually our hero. Our hero is Master Dark in the blue trunks. I might have said that backwards. The last 2 games are kind of have scrambled my brain, chat. But yes, a tractor coming down, one of the common maligned phobies for this map, as well as this map in general. Getting the break here, which is interesting. Opening this up. Spider to supplement. I feel like we're getting relatively standard stuff, chat. I mean, the cassowary is a little abnormal. Does anybody else feel like cassowary is seeing less play than it did previously? I mean, it took a while, myself included, to really accept the power level of Unicorn. But I feel as though I'm seeing way less cassowary than I typically do. Has anybody else been noticing that, or is it just anecdotal? I mean, I guess it's anecdotal regardless, but you get what I'm saying. Down goes the boomer. The panic point advantage will remain hero here. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna stream for variety tomorrow night, chat. I'm tempted to do Redfall. I have been enjoying that game. You have the same anecdote? Fair. This is interesting because you do get the yoink here. It will allow a counter yoink from bad guy, except not because of the spider. This is a pretty cool play. I like this. I also need to change the bot. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but Fright Night 7 signups will be going up this week, barring catastrophe. Which means that you'll have your opportunity to try and swing it into your favor with all the big names. We'll see who takes it down this time. I heard Redfall is super mediocre. It's fine. Wait, what? I think you kill their spider here, don't you? What do you think, chat? Should our hero have just killed the spider? You will end up losing yours, but then you've removed their yoink. You have yoink advantage, and your remaining yoink is a tractor still. I mean, you could take the free kill here, too. I don't know. But yeah, Redfall is fine. I found it's pretty buggy. I found an enormous amount of bugs. Ranging in all kinds of levels where it's, like, tearing and stuttering to some audio issues to the game literally crashing. But it's fine. It's a co-op shooter. I think there's an interesting dichotomy between the types of enemies where it's basically, like, you want certain weapons in certain areas, but I guess it's not that interesting of a swap. Because it's like, hey, if you fight a vampire, use a UV light weapon, or use a stake thrower. Use regular guns against regular enemies. Like, obviously. And there are certain areas where it's strictly vampire enemies, so you end up, alright, well, I'll change my loadout before I go in there, you know what I mean? It's fine. Like, I'll enjoy it off stream. So our hero now has triple yoinks, by the way. That's interesting to snipe the jar. Most strong phobies were just overused now that utility phobies are what make up gameplay. You see less of nice stat phobies and just overuse of abilities. If that's in response to the cassowary piece that I was saying earlier, cassowary still represents a unique set of abilities in that it's a cheap phobie and it allows you to have a 2-cost, 2-move ranged phobie, air quotes. Obviously, it only gets the ranged part once, but you get the idea. Like, you're able to represent something cheap with a relatively or significantly high level of damage output and then snipe something. Or just, control the board early on because you can represent a solid chunk of damage. I am surprised. So, to your point, I'm not surprised that stat block phobies, vanilla phobies that are just dummies who punch good or shoot good, lose value over time. However, cassowary still represents a valuable enough proposition that I'm a little surprised that it's dropping off. But, I mean, it still shows up, so. I've been fighting bugs and spell slingers too. There's been this ongoing thing where someone disconnects and reconnects a whole turn later, and sometimes when it goes back and forth on a random disconnect, it abruptly ends in a draw. That's a new one. I mean, I've had disconnect issues with spell slingers myself, but... So as far as this game goes, 4 to 1 panic point advantage, bad guy. 4 keys remaining to 1, but again, our hero has all the yoinks in the world, just about. One of them is going to get burned here. I mean, it's almost a you might as well moment. This is a pretty cool heads-up play, getting the break here so that you finally do snipe the spider. The spider's still going to die, though? Like, there's no way this spider lives, right? Which, if this was the ultimate result, I think several turns ago, you could have traded spiders and probably been better off. Because especially in light of the Smother Mother edition, you're now 2 yoinks to 0. Granted, bad guy does have the option to maybe scritch something into oblivion. I imagine this is a dead attractor and this is the mistake. Because Scritch, Cyclops, and Snowball can all connect. Or you could just juice it. Or Jar. That'll do it. This is looking kind of dicey for our hero here, to a degree. I mean, you still have the Yoink and enormous threat in Smother Mother. Get a quick Yoink there to pick off the Snowball. Never mind, our hero's fine. I thought the Snowball was still down. Or the Smother Mother was still down. But stabilizing the panic point situation to a large degree, down to a 1-0 panic point advantage, obviously. Snowball's going to croak here, but you have time. You're at half health and still taking damage, but it's a big map. Could you not have... No. I was going to say, can't the cat kill this, and then you kill the Scritch? Then if they try to counter kill with the Cyclops onto the Crushmore, it's going to get yoinked into the pit, but you can't do that because you wouldn't have had enough damage. Bad guy trying to go for the heart kill, that's going to be their big out. What if we had a tournament where there's only use of physical passive abilities and no active abilities? So, Tiny Terrors? I mean, there are some activated abilities, like Cassowary, for example, in Tiny Terrors, but for the most part, you have a lot of vanilla Phobies. Well, maybe not even for the most part. There's a lot of Phobies that have abilities at common and uncommon. So at this point, the game is over. The power of many yoinks is basically what it amounted to. Just trap the bad guy here. I think you could have positioned aggressively. Like, put the Smother Mother right on top of this thing. And then there's just nothing they could do. Ha! Just get them blocked in. This might be the thumbnail. I'll still use the other opening clip, but this might be the thumbnail. Because that's actually pretty funny. Got the kill with the cat. GG. Got him. I'm very curious about this game on Phobopolis where Rossarius is our hero because the notes are simply, now you see me. I am curious. We will see. Do we get a Sasquatch? Do we get a creepy devil? If we get a creepy devil, I can show all the people in chat who are doubting that there's a face on the end instead of being a warthog. All the doubters out there. Rossarius, our hero, with the opening Klepto. That's a thing you can do. That is a legal play. So we're getting Poison Ivy. We're already starting off this game with some very interesting... Really? So this is interesting for a few different reasons, one of which is now the Poison Ivy can freely trap the middle. So exclude Muffin, Boom, Sucky, Murderwing, Gravedigger, Unicorn, not all ultra rares and rares as active ability units. I think that format would get pretty boring. And B, think that you'd run into more issues with people just forgetting which things. I know it seems obvious, but, like, that's a lot of stuff that you have to, like, completely rework your collection sort of thing. But in the meantime, we're getting a beatdown going down on Klepto, which probably didn't need to happen at all. Again, you could have gone here and then just bopped the Poison Ivy. Follow-up is Noxious. Matching poison for poison here. Maggie reclaiming the north after that Contortio was eliminated. Interestingly enough, a trap only goes down now. I mean, obviously, it had to reposition. So the jar is presumably not safe because this snowball can swing in if bad guy desires. We're going to assume that it's of appropriate level. Even if it wasn't, bad guy's jar could, of course, supplement. We get a little Tickles action. And Dr. Dermic, really. Chat, what's the phobia you've... Well, I was going to say, what's the phobia you've seen the least, but it's probably Rusty for everybody outside of, like, specific stress level phobies. But I feel like Dr. Dermic has got to be top 5 or top 3 never seen phobies, you know what I mean? Beauty, alright. How does our hero answer this? Beauty, despite the nerfs, is still very dangerous. You still got to respect the beauty, and the panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy. That's an interesting break. That's not one you commonly see. It's often the center. You know, like break these, maybe build some blocks. Breaking this almost never happens. You can poison with Henrietta and Sarcasm, but can't heal at all unless there's a spa on the map. Yeah, if you went with this format, it does make poison into almost completely disease. Beauty getting juiced. 1,000+ damage to the heart with a little Boam action. Need a little bit of Boam in your life? Smiley was the response to this beauty. I don't know if it's ever actually going to connect. Haven't seen the zombie healer yet. Yeah, Zomboni doesn't show up a lot. I think it's better than people give it credit for, but maybe not by much. Maggie chomping on another 1 key to reclaim the center. Scritch. We've seen a lot of Scritch tonight. And a lot of juiced up Noxious, truthfully. $11 keys to 9. I guess Gravedigger's calling it quits on life to a degree. Down goes the good boy. We are going to juice the Noxious to hit this pair in the north. 753, that's a big hit. That is, in fact, a dead Gravedigger and a damaged Beauty, but it is close enough that, you know, we're going to see some sort of healing phobia. That poison's just not going to last. Tiny Tim! When do we get a Scrooge phobia, chat? Get a little Blom going, because we can. Of course, don't want to AoE with a regular attack onto the Noxious, because you'll tag the Smiley. And the disease is much more threatening than the poison to Beauty. For presumably obvious reasons. And in fact, we do get the Clinico 3 keys to 3 keys. Jar goes down frivolously. Gonzo is up. So that means that we do get a creepy devil. All right, chat. Here's why. Oh. Does everybody see the face now? Do you see the face? You're lying. If you don't see the face, you're lying. Unless you use Smiley, which might be a little more difficult. What, in the no abilities league? So Tiny Tim has meant that Panic Point Advantage goes for the hero here. But the heart is just very low. Uh-oh, there's poison traps down here. And Dermic just got burned here. Dermic just got burned, and that Smiley's in range of this Hevo. Not quite enough to kill it, but it is problematic. So wait a second, do you take half poison damage? Oh, terrain effects, poison, and disease work normally. There you go. Is this a dead Smiley? It's a dead Smiley. Womp wah. That means the AoE is free to rain from this beauty. Suddenly this is looking pretty terrible for our hero. But we'll see. There is still a creepy devil somewhere. Get that big old splash going down. Dead Gonzo. Getting them Dr. Dermic beats in. Creepy Devil still alive. I think I know how this game ends, chat. I almost want to use this as the thumbnail. Oof. The heal onto Beauty really hurts. That really hurts. Bracket the Hevo here so it can't escape. Alright, last turn of invisibility, I think. Down it goes. We determined from Sasquatch that, like, say the creepy devil was like where Scritch was. That was weird. But if it gets hit by a stray ability, I think it decloaks, right? Quick snipe here. What are we looking at? 798. 214. Ha! Get the invisibility. Oh my god, it is going to end the way I thought it was. It is going to end, because this is such a weird cat and mouse game now. Because bad guy clearly has to run for their life. But they have no idea where our hero is going. Got him! Draw. We saw 2 draws tonight, chat. Oh my god. What are the 2 draws? Come on. That's hilarious. I had a feeling that's where the game was going. But GG, Rossarius. GG. Alright. Either the last or next to last game for this evening. Strahd is back. Our hero here on Red Rum. In the orange trunks, I did what you said you wanted to do with Wooly Bully. Power down versus boss. Alright. Let's see how this works out. If an invisible phobie gets hit by splash, it takes damage, but you don't see it or know it. Fair. Okay. This is interesting. I assume our toe friend here will survive a cat strike. Obviously will not survive the combination, but... So we get the follow-up with a unicorn. We're getting a bank to 5. Bad guy also banked first. In big investment is Hematic Ginsting. Oh no. Is this at least a dead unicorn? Oh no. That's not even worth it to begin with. I don't think that's worth it to begin with. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't think this invade is worth it. Because you're going to end up losing both of those no matter what. Even without the trap, I think. A little suck ass in action. Triple panic point advantage, though. It is interesting that Strahd went for the early Wooly Bully. There is an AoE phobie in Ginsting, clearly, and this is a level 8 Wooly Bully, so 363. It is powering down a fair amount, but you're still going to take a lot of damage here. I was about to say, does this not kill it somehow, which would have been absurd. Alright, this isn't bad. Maybe that earlier play is fine, because you're able to kill this. I just don't know. What you probably preserve the cassowary still to this point, and yet still kill all that stuff off. Based on what we've seen thus far in this game, I feel like Wooly Bully probably plays less into a victory versus boss than simply bad guy hemorrhaging their board position and then going into boss and saying, all right, boss will carry me, but it can't quite do it. Wait, what? I mean, you still have 6 keys, so this is going to get healed, but still. The follow-up foul. Was the power down not ready? Okay, it's still on cooldown. I was going to say, otherwise, just go here and power down, so that way you don't get clobbered by the hematic, but... They didn't need to do this. They could have left boss here, but presumably they backed it up to avoid the foul. But I almost feel like it's worth letting the foul connect rather than having to go chase everything, because now our hero has an opportunity to like set up however they want. Alright, so we get the power down here on Jinsting once again, allowing the boss free reign. Although, given the Gonzo, the power down just kind of evens that out. I don't get the Temptress here. I mean, obviously good against Gonzo, but I don't think that's worth. Since our hero burned all their cooldowns, I imagine this is why we're getting the boss invade. But remember, Foul pushes a ton of attack damage on its own. Over 900 damage here. Two to one panic point advantage, bad guy. Obviously a dead Jinsting at this stage, like that was just going to happen. I think you instead should have killed it with the Temptress, and then this way you can get a free shot on the boss. I mean, I guess you can reposition the Temptress here, but you could add, like, Foul, Temptress, Jar, poke the boss, because the Temptress would have killed the Jinsting. But yeah, I think the power down definitely seemed valuable here. It neutered Hematic Jinsting throughout the game multiple times, but I think that this was more on bad guy for, like, they didn't do anything for like 2 or 3 turns, essentially. I didn't look at the numbers, but I imagine you probably could have AoE'd there instead and still killed the Gonzo, but I could be wrong. But Strahd taking control and taking the game down. Woolly Bully in tow. There's the splash. And there goes the heart. GG, well played there, Strahd. Yeah, a little preemptive Woolly Bully action there. Last game of the night, Gakuen is our hero here on Like and Subscribe. Had a satisfying hit with Gravedigger and Boom combo. All right, trying to do their best Onda impression. Let's see what we got. I didn't do a good job hydrating this weekend, chat. Whoa. Interesting opener here from Gakuen. Notably, no 1 key to cap the bottom point. Obviously, Gravedigger into 1 key allows you, as you can see from bad guy here, to cap one of the points. Instead, going to be a little bit behind here, but we're getting some Blondie action. Getting a little Blondie action going. Cowbell, huh? Makes sense. I feel as though our hero gave up, I don't want to say a lot of board position, but it feels like a lot of board position. Just no fear of the Temptress. Why? Because heavy metal. Literally 0 damage. And the Hydra follow-up, we saw this earlier. Get the boom. Is bad guy going to go for it? So as noted here, if anybody was curious, you will still connect with the electrical damage. Brony! Not going to lie, Brony seems like a good answer here, truth be told. You have a panic point advantage. As bad guy, you have a panic point advantage. Oh my god, look at this. Wow! Big oof for bad guy. That is a pretty solid hit there. Now, the problem is, bad guy can power down our heroes, basically the entire team, except for Jill, and not get their stuff caught. So that's a big feels bad moment. Thunder Rocks is the response. Huh. I mean, it definitely makes sense, but this is so weird. I feel like you need to move the Blondie again. Because the Blondie's going to get hit by... There you go. I was going to say, otherwise Thunder Rocks plus Blondie equals bad time. Especially from the stim. So Panic Point Advantage goes blue, at least temporarily. Do get a big Thunder Rocks connection, but at the same time, it's fine. That's going to be a dead Jill. But we can get the Blondie coming through to power everything down again. I don't know if that's necessarily what you want to do. Snowball and Wiggy are the follow-up. Is there a way to clear out the... Never mind, they're not going to go for it. I was going to say, there might be a way to get Klepto on the stim and then get a big hit, but... we're clearing stuff out this way instead. Finally, the bottom left panic point gets claimed. By the way, everything's still powered down by Brony for our hero here. And a little sucky action. What got everybody on this Blondie Hydra plan? Was it however many weeks ago now when we reviewed that one game? Because now we have Gakuen and Big She trying to make this happen. Alright, Sparky here, sure. Down goes Wiggy. I don't know about this. I guess this is fine. Ooh, I like the block here. That just makes life really complicated for bad guy. Sucky comes in. Now we got all these body blocks for the Hydras. We're still very healthy, by the way. Still very healthy. And then the follow-up, Noxious. This is a lot of HP to chew through, electricals or not. Chat, is this really a thing? Is Blondie Hydra a thing now? This Brony might get to activate again. Maybe I'll try it too. I mean, it looks fun. And it definitely feels like, yes, you need to respond with electricals because that's a lot of HP to chew through. And if you don't have electrical damage, the Blondie might just turn off all your damage. Maybe not literally, but it will deactivate a lot of it. Feels like levels are going to play a part in it. Well, that's true of everything, right? Brony goes down to a Morty. So Gakuen across 2 games has played 2 Hydras, 2 Blondies, 2 Mortys. Like, I don't hate this plan, chat. This is interesting. So we got the power down here. 62 damage, 0. The Sparky, for some reason, is attacking Sucky. I don't understand that. Obviously, the Thunder Rock should be going down, but why didn't the Sparky rotate too? You're not going to kill the Sucky unless you're popping something out that does. I don't get it. That seems like not an ideal setup for the turn. Maybe you needed the damage so that way the Inoculus can kill it, but that does not seem like what you want to do. Regardless, this is a lot of very dangerous mechanicals about to say hello to your heart. Just completely ignoring the Henrietta as you should. There's just too much here. Yes, they can kill the Droney. They're going to kill the Morty. But then they're not killing these. They're not killing these. Actually, they might be able to get the Hydra just because of the enormous amount of electrical damage, but... Nope, they can't kill the Hydra. When I think about it, big bodies plus big AoE debuff sounds pretty strong together in concept. Yeah, I mean, on paper, it logically makes sense. Like, for example, is this a potential counter to the Akira nonsense we've been seeing? Just because it's like, you can pull my team in, but on a non-Abyss map, you can pull my team in and you're just still not killing them. And then I'll AoE debuff your entire team. Let alone if you get the debuff ahead of time, right? I mean, the answer, it probably is some combination of what we saw from Bad Guy here, including Temptress. Just, hey, get your electricals to connect. But Blondie was able to get multiple debuffs. Probably can't allow that to happen. GG, Gakuen. Well played. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these, because this is a very unique game plan. GG. All right, chat. That's going to do it for tonight. The list is officially empty at the moment. I'm sure it will fill up very quickly. But if you want to get your own games reviewed, hit up the RandomSt Discord. Link for that and the live stream, of course, in the description. Thereabouts a like and subscribe button. Help me out trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Fright Night number 7 is coming up soon. Check the RandomSt Discord for information about that. But we're going to call it for now. Until the next stream, chat. As always, everybody, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and Black Lives Matter.